All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, today we are going to be looking at the very beginnings of economics and what does this entail and things like that. Okay. I do apologize for this video. I did record it. I know I recorded it before, but I can't find it. I don't know where it's at, but I know I recorded this. So I do apologize for the lateness. It's gonna be putting on to Google Classroom. So I do apologize for that. Come on, this computer's going all crazy. All right, so let's look at the objectives. Today we're going to analyze how scarcity plays a role in an amounts produced and the price. All right, and then we're going to examine what is truly a need. What is a need and what's a want? That's the focus for today's lesson. And then we're going to create an argument on which of the three factors of production is the most important. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the warm-up picture. All right, so the first one asks you to create a list of things you see. Pretty easy. There's just a couple things. And the last one says, predict who this guy is and what is this artist trying to say. All right, now I've had a lot of students tell me, well, what does that mean? It's all Greek to me. Because the thing is, it's an old saying, basically, because a lot of people don't know Greek. So to say it's all Greek to me means I don't know what it is. You know, so what is this artist trying to say about this guy and the book? Okay, so take a couple minutes, write down your response, but we're going to be moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so the very definition of economics is the production, consumption, and transfer of wealth. Okay, that's the heart of itself. You should know it, but just in case you don't, scarcity means not enough. When there's not enough stuff for everyone, that means it's scarce. So, like fresh water, good food, things like that. If you want to even go PS5s, right now when they first came out, there's not enough for everybody who wants it. Right? There was a scarcity, but they're making them, they're building them. So as time goes on, that will be filled. But as of this moment, right now, there's a scarcity. So going back to the PS5, we're going to get to the needs and wants. Okay, because there is a difference. So when you hear people say, oh, I need this to survive, chances are you don't. Okay. The needs are basically three things: food, clothing, shelter. Okay. Now, what defines as a want is anything you really don't need. Plain and simple, right? But here's the thing. This is where some people try to change the language and say, oh, no, it's a need. Stuff like clothing. You don't need a Louis Vuitton, this and that. You don't need some designer clothing. When they say clothing, it means the bare minimum. So stuff like you can get at Walmart, Target, discount stores. That's the need. Just basic clothing, small price, that's the need. Okay, so when people say, oh, I need, a $30,000 blouse. Oh, I need, $2,000 cufflinks, It's like, no, you don't. Well, it's part of clothing. Yeah, but the price is way up here. You can get a substitute for it way down here. You don't need $2,000 cufflinks, but you can get one for like $15. There's a big difference in price. It's just you're going for labels. Okay, so that's again what people try to do. Same thing with food. Oh, I have to eat at Wolfgang Puck's. I have to eat at this major celebrity chef's place. No, you don't. No, you don't. Cooking at home, a little salad, chicken breast, things like that. That's all you need. Okay, full course meal doesn't cost that much, as opposed to going some place where you're going to pay $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for. No. Okay. Shelter, same thing. You don't need a mansion. You just need a little place for yourself, or enough for your family. Okay. So even a cave technically counts as shelter. Okay? And always remember this. Every single one of us, everyone, is a consumer. We buy things. Even the people who make things, they have to buy the stuff to make the things. Okay? So everyone is a consumer, and there's a portion of America and the world who are producers. They make things, for people. Now, I can't remember if this is on your paper or not, but if it is, answer the question, whatever it is basically the wants and needs. The want, you should fill that out quick. The need, it should, again, be the basics. Okay, so that's it for this part. We're going to be moving on. Okay, so the people who make things, they have a dilemma in their hands. They have people who want things, right? Ultimate wants. People just want. Okay, right? Even if you don't need it, you just want it if it's there, right? If something's like a bottle of water costs 5 cents, you're gonna be like, well, I may not need it now, but I'll probably, get it later. You're gonna buy it, right? Same thing with like, let's say a thing of pencils, 5 cents, a stack of them. You're gonna buy it. Why? Because it's 5 cents. So you would want that, right? But the other thing is we have limited resources. We don't have an abundance of trees, things like that. It's not like when we chop one down, another one springs up. It takes time, and that's the other thing. So producers have to think of 3 things. 1, what to produce. 2, how to make it. And 3, who are they targeting? Okay? So the first thing is what to do. So they have to basically say, okay, what do I want to make? Is it going to be needed, and where is it really needed at? So something like winter clothing, you're not really going to need to sell it in like the desert areas, right? Or the place where it always rains and never really gets cold. Okay. But when a place where it is snowing all the time, so that's where you would say, you know what, maybe we should, be closer to that area. Okay? How to produce it? How are you going to make this thing? Are you going to make a bunch of them? Just keep making them, or are you going to go with limited amounts? So a great example would be my little pop figure things, right? Usually they make a bunch of them. They make a ton of them. But sometimes they make little limited edition ones that do things, right? This one lights up and make noises. So they make those rare, small amounts, okay? So some companies, they do something like that. Hey, we really make a lot of this and a little bit of this, or sometimes they go full-blown, a whole bunch of this item, or that item we're just going to make very little of it, okay? And then they have to think too, well, how are they going to make it? Is it more machines, less workers? The machines were primarily making it and the workers are the ones fixing the machines? Or is it vice versa? Less machines and more workers where it takes like hands-on stuff, So a great example of that would be like if you ever seen like chandeliers or anything with glass, like stained glass windows and some of that, that's man-made. Robots can't do that. Machines can't make glass because you have to blow into it and things like that, shape it. And judging from the way the glass moves, you have to adjust to it. Machine can't really do that. Okay. Next one is for whom to produce. So who are your target audience? So something like these, I've seen little kids, I've seen older people, a lot older than me, get these, by the bundles. Okay. But sometimes some items are just for girls or guys, or for a specific age, under 21, over 50. Okay. A great way to look at it is if you're ever home, and you're just watching TV, think to yourself, where would you be at this time, right? Let's say it's in the middle of the week. Where would you be? More likely you'd probably be at school if it's in the morning time. Look at the commercials and ask yourself, who would be here watching TV at this time, and then look at the commercials. Usually the commercials tell you who they're targeting because they have a really good understanding of who watches TV at a certain time and what to show. All right. Now I've had a student ask me before, well, how come like things like Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all these other places, they put things that I like on there, the ads, it's like some things I'm thinking of, it just pops up. We're going to get to that later, believe it or not. We're going to get to that. Why does that happen? Okay, I'm actually going to break it down for you and teach you why that is. Okay. And then lastly, is it a want or a need? Okay. Now, if you notice, a lot of times grocery stores, they don't really advertise. You notice that? Because they know you need food, you're going to come to us. Unless they're going to open a new place, then they'll advertise, or if they're like going out of business, then they'll advertise or some of that, special occasions. But majority of the time they don't, because they don't need to. Now, places like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, the fast food places, all the time, right? Because they want you to be like, I don't want to cook. I'd rather go here or there. Oh, that looks good. Oh, they have the McRib is back. Okay. So here's your first question. Is there something that you want that costs either you or your parents a lot of money? Remember, it's a want. What's a want that you're like, oh, I want that so bad, but it's really, really expensive. Okay, so think to yourself for a couple minutes. If you cannot think of anything, if you're like, I don't know, think about something in the future that you would want, but again, it's going to be really, really expensive. Okay, so think of a want. Okay, so take a couple minutes, pause the video so you can answer the question, but we're going to be moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so factors of production, there's 3 main things: land, capital, labor. Okay, now land basically means natural resources that cannot be made. It's like created from the earth. Man cannot make it. Okay, so things like trees, we really can't make trees. Gold, silver, platinum, things like that. Now we can make stuff out of those, right? Combine gold with this, and combine tin and copper, and you get things like that. But the natural basic stuff, you can't make it. So that's land. Okay. Now capital is basically items used, tools, equipments, things like that. So for teachers, it's like pencils, markers, for again farmers, tractors, holes, things like that. So every job has different things that are considered capital. Even chairs sometimes, I think they are actually technically. And the last one is labor. This is you and me. This is our efforts, our skills, our abilities. Okay. So whenever you get a job, if any of you guys have already done it, you see on there they have a part that says, what are your skills? They want to know what you bring to the table. What are you able to do? And then they basically say, how can we use that skill if we can? So entrepreneurs, you may have heard that term before. These are people who are responsible for a change in the economy. Sometimes they're like inventors. They started new businesses, things like that. So people like Tesla, Edison, they created things. Ford, with the Model T, even though he didn't create the car, his technique of how to make a car like that revolutionized things. So he invented a method to create things, the assembly line. That alone would put him as an entrepreneur. Okay. Now again, the production, creation of goods and services. Okay, so even though like a restaurant doesn't really create anything, they make like food and stuff like that, but it's not like they're creating, bottles or PS5s or things like that. They're making food. They are a service. Okay, you go to them, they offer their service, things like that. And whether you like it or not, you go back or you don't. Again, That's a service when you go to a restaurant. All right, so the GDP, gross domestic product, basically what a country has made in a year. Okay. Now, here's the thing. This is something with business. There's three things when it comes to businesses and how they basically like how are we going to make things, how they make the decisions. First thing, they get analysts. These people look at the numbers and they basically say if the company is doing well, how well a company or a state or a country may be doing. They basically look at the numbers only. They don't think, like right now, they don't go, oh, well, the numbers are down, but that's because of COVID and things like that. They're not taking anything into consideration. They just look at the numbers, straight numbers. So right now they're freaking out saying, oh my God, the numbers are so low. Oh my God, nobody's buying at this place, stuff like that. Now, the next step is the explanation. Now, these are the guys who basically say how they got to that point. They are the ones who look and say, okay, the numbers are low, but how did we get here? Is it because our product sucks? Is it because there's something better that's on the market? Or is it because something like COVID? And they're the ones who basically say, okay, yeah, the numbers are down, but it's because of this. Or the numbers are up because of this. And the last one is the prediction. These guys basically make an educated guess based off the data and basically say, like, in 6 months, our numbers are going to be really high, or in 6 months, our numbers are going to be really low. Are they going to be right? It's a 50-50, basically. To say that they're going to get the spot, like they say, oh, our numbers are going to be exactly at 12,000 units sold. That's rare that they actually get it right on the dot. Extremely rare. But for them to say, oh, it's going to be up or down, they got a 50-50 chance. Okay. But again, you have to remember, no one knows what the future holds. Yeah, people might be buying from Amazon right now, but in 6 months, who knows when, people, small businesses might be doing something and people start buying from small businesses instead of Amazon. That would lower their numbers. So here is my question to you. What is the point of making a prediction if the odds are not in your favor that you'll be right? Again, a 50-50 chance is like, if you're a gambling person, you might take those odds. But if you're not, you kind of see like, oh, man, I don't know. Because if I'm wrong, and you have to remember, these companies, there's thousands of people working for them, If you're wrong, they had to fire people. It's going to be on you because you said it's going to be high, So, or vice versa. You say it's going to be low, and then they start firing people, and then you actually go high, So it's like we fired people that we didn't have to fire, So take a couple minutes, put your response, but we're going to be moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so now to your exit ticket. I want you to name a want that a lot of people confuse for a need. So think of something people go, oh, I need this so bad. Oh, I need this. Think of like kids too, little kids. If you have little brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, little cousins, think about them when they say, oh, I need this. Oh, I need this so much. And be like, no, you don't. You don't really need it. You want it. Okay. Or even think of adults. A lot of people go, oh, I need this. No, you don't. And the second question is, in what way is scarcity a good thing? Why would it be good in any which way you can think of where we don't have enough of an item? So let's say one of these little figures. If there was not enough, what could be a good thing about that? So maybe not think about food or water, the needs, but think of wants. Think of wants, and if they were scarce, think about that. Okay, so try to get your mind off disaster mode. No, not enough food, not enough water, and go more towards a want. How could that be good if there was a certain really limited amount of a want? Okay, So that's it for this lesson. Hopefully you guys learned something new. So you guys take care and you be safe, all right?